What's up, everybody? My name is Justin Smith, and I am not a good photographer. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a photo that I took in Larch Valley, just north of Moraine Lake. And we're basically going to be taking it from this to this. It's a shot of a gray jay that we've kind of was following us along the path. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is, while it was this bird was kind of following us for probably a good 15 minutes or so. It was kind of just hovering around, and then would kind of settle on a tree next to us. I was using my Olympus 12 to 100 f4 IS Pro lens. So this was shot, I believe, probably it's close to the far end. Shot, yeah, at about 92 millimeters. So I mean, I wasn't far away, but I certainly wasn't close. So first thing I'd want to do is crop the bird. Even though it was following us, it wasn't sitting still for very long, so I wanted to just get it as fast as I could. So the first thing I'd want to do is crop it, so we know what we're actually working with here. So I mean, this is obviously just to personal preference, to taste. I mean, I would want to crop in pretty tight on the bird, maybe around there, to have its neck at this intersection of the thirds. I mean, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's got some character. He's kind of looking around, looking like he owns the place. So I really like that. So I mean, it's exposed fairly well. One thing I'm not really happy about is the fact that the sun was kind of up to his right, my left. And so the highlights are around his head and around his neck are really blown out. It's maybe not blown out, but it's really distracting, I find. So I want to bring those highlights down as much as I can. It doesn't really do much to the rest of the image. We're going to fix the exposure in a second here, but yeah, it's really distracting to have that. It's so bright around those areas, and we're probably going to use the adjustment brush in a bit to even bring those down more. But for right now, that'll do. And then we're going to bring the exposure back up to kind of even things out here. I apologize for the sounds in the background. I'm at my office right now, so we're in kind of an industrial area here. Now, the picture has, or the image has quite a bit of contrast, but I do want to bring it up just a little bit here. I really like how green this tree was. Right now it is September 16th. We went up a week ago tomorrow, and so you can already tell in the background that the grass is starting to turn yellow and stuff. So I really like how green this still was. And by turning up the contrast, we kind of made it a little too dark. So I'd want to bring the shadows up just a little bit, just to kind of bring some color back into those into the trees in the background there. And then for this image, I really do want to add quite a bit of clarity, probably around 40 or so. If you zoom in, he was still enough that you could see quite a bit of the feathers. So I wanted to give those some extra edge and definition. And then my favorite tool, the vibrance. Everyone knows that I love this tool. It's like the magic saturation. I'm probably going to do about 40 on this photo as well, maybe 45. Just the green in this tree just makes me smile. So close out of the basic tab for a minute. We will go into the details, the detail tab, and once again, we're going to turn on masking. So hold the Alt and Option so you can see it turn to reset sharpening, and we're just going to bring this up until basically only the tree and the bird are what's being sharpened. A little bit of sharpness in the background is not going to kill anybody. Then we can zoom into the bird and just actually see the effects of the sharpening that we're going to apply. So I'm going to turn this up probably about 50, 60 kind of thing. I really like how much detail you can see in those feathers. It makes me smile. Maybe bring the masking down just a little bit to give apply to those little tufts of feather there. Okay, and we can zoom out. And I don't really need any noise reduction. I'm going to apply some anyways, because if you look in the background here with the with kind of the bokeh, whatever, the luminance should fuzz those out just a little bit. So we're going to keep it around 25. I mentioned this in a previous video, but a trick I learned from some other YouTuber, I'm not sure who. If you remember, or if you know who this was, please let me know and I'll definitely give them credit. To never have a sharpening amount and a noise reduction luminance values that add up to more than 100. Right now we're at 85, so we're good. Anything more than that, and you're going to start to get really weird, either smearing or artifacting or whatever, and we definitely don't want that. And so close out of the detail tab because we're done in there. Now I shoot on Micro Four Thirds, so I don't have to worry about the lens corrections or the lens profiles. I'm sorry, but what I am going to do is I'm going to turn on the defringing because if you look just kind of around this edge and around the top of his head, sorry, you can see there's just a tiny little bit of purpling right there. So we're going to turn it up to about 5, and that's going to go away. And so now you just have a nice white to kind of green and black color back there. There isn't any green fringing because we're looking into the sun, so that's not a big issue. We can close that, and then we don't need to transform it because the trees pretty much look straight up as it is. And we can close that. Now with the effects, I am going to add a vignette to this photo. Just to kind of give the bird a little extra focus. So you can, 15 might be a little too much, maybe bring it down to 13. Okay. And so basically just darkening her just around the sides just a little bit to bring the viewer's attention into the photo and to see the bird as he kind of surveys his kingdom. And then finally, we're going to use our adjustment brush. So now that we've done all of the kind of main kind of photo wide adjustments, now we can go in and make some specific adjustments specifically to tiny little areas that we want to fix. So as I mentioned before, I really am I'm not happy with the fact that that the head got so overexposed here in the neck. So I'm going to take the adjustment brush and I'm going to basically turn down the exposure a ton, and we're going to fix this in a minute. You know, guys, that's my favorite, is just basically going really hard and then bringing it back just so that we can see where we're applying it to. And this brush is a bit big, so we're going to bring it down just a little bit. And then I'm just going to paint in some lack of, or some exposure darkening. You know what, right there actually looks pretty good. And then if we use a radial filter, this is going to be really, really dark again, but we'll fix that in a minute. That's okay. So we're just going to bring this up maybe just a little bit bigger than the bird. And we're going to bring that back. And then maybe about 0.2 of a stop. I like that. Maybe a little more. Yeah, maybe a stop is good. And now I think we're pretty much done there. It's got nice balance to the image. Nothing's blown out. Nothing's clipping. It's got some color. It's definitely got some mood to it. I might crop it just a little more here, just to make him seem even bigger as he shows off struts his stuff. But yeah, I think that image is done. So like always, I'd love to hear your comments, your questions, your constructive criticisms. What would you have done differently? If you have questions about the reasoning behind why I did something, please leave me a comment, and I'd love to get back to you. If there's something you would have done that I didn't, if there's something that I did that you wouldn't have done, I'd love to know what that was and why. The channel is called, I am not a good photographer, so I'm always up for learning. I want this to be a collaborative process. So yeah, just leave a comment. If you really like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, give me a thumbs down. That's just as important to me. I want to know what you guys like, and we'll tailor more content to you in the future. So, thank you for watching. I am not a good photographer, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.